This is Nikolai Volkoff. You're listening to HWR Radio.
Welcome to another edition of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, where we say screw the pipe bombs and we drop the F-bombs. In other words, HWR is not a fucking babysitting service, so let's keep the kiddies out. Welcome everyone to a milestone 100th episode of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, and tonight we have a legendary guest on hand. He is a multi-time tag team champion and a WWE Hall of Famer. He is the one, he is the only, Nikolai Volkoff. Mr. Volkoff, welcome to Hardcore Wrestling Radio. It is an honor to have you.
Thank you very much. Nice to be there.
Now, Mr. Volkoff, you were in the WWE or the WWF a handful of times through 1974 and 1994. And just to catch up, what have you been doing for the past 20 years?
Well, I've been working for the government in Baltimore, and I've been still working here a little bit in there, independent show, and doing a couple little things for the WWF, WWE now.
Now, real quick, what do you think about the WWE now today as a product?
Well, it's the biggest show in the world. You know, WrestleMania is the biggest event, any sports or anything in the whole world. You know, it's one of the greatest things ever happened. And Vince McMahon is a very, very smart promoter. I think he brought wrestling high as anybody could do it. It's almost unbelievable. Now,
you won the WWF Tag Team Champions from the U.S. Express, Mike Rotundo and Barry Windham, at the first ever WrestleMania on March 31st, 1985. What was it like when you first walked into the WrestleMania and, you know, looking at that product? What were your thoughts?
It was a great feeling to be once again in Madison Square Garden with a sellout crowd. And I could say I was, first of all, in 1970, they saw Madison Square Garden for the first time with against Bruno Sammartino. And it was a nice feeling when you have so many people, you know, cheering you or booing you. And it was unbelievable. It was very good.
Now, you had a feud with Hulk Hogan for a flag match. Now, Just recently, there is a Russian wrestler named Rusev who had a flag match with the Big Show. And if you look at those flag matches, they're very, very similar. Hulk Hogan took your Russian flag, and he was like doing pretty much everything but wiping his behind with it. And there was no cause for it. While Big Show ripped down that American, the modern Russian flag, and he had to make a public apology. What are your thoughts about that? How that all worked out?
Well, I don't think you should never touch any country flag. Depends what you think about. The people have lots of people in the country who give their life for the flag, you know, and they love they respect it and they fight for the country. So that's the reason I never touch any other flag. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you have
absolutely.
to have respect for the flag. No matter how much you like the people, you should have respect for the flag, because flag is a symbol of the country.
Well, I'm going to kick the questions over to my sidekick, my partner, the son of a bitch, Andy.
All right.
Hello, Mr. Volkoff. It's nice to meet you, and I'm sitting here. It's 2:13 in the morning in sunny UK, so it's a pleasure to actually speak to you. When you were inducted in the Hall of Fame, how did you feel? Did you think it's like the biggest pinnacle of your career, or how did you feel actually in yourself when you were inducted in there?
Well, it was beautiful. It was beautiful done. It was beautiful, big event. You know, it was done in California, and I was inducted in the Hall of Fame. My old partner, Iron Sheik, the Hulk Hogan, Jimmy Hart, Ronnie Piper, good friend, and Bob Orton. It was great.
Very well deserved as well. Without any shadow of doubt, it's very well deserved. Do you feel that wrestling is on a downhill slope now compared to when you were an active wrestler? Do you feel it's lost its appeal now?
Well, the wrestling always go up and down. In the history of wrestling, always go up and down. You know, like everything else. You know, everything go up, have to come down. And cannot stay up all the time. But then it will come up again. You know, coming up again. You know, so.
Who is your favourite opponent, and why would you class them as your favourite opponent?
Oh, one of my favorite opponents was Bruno Sammartino. Bruno Sammartino, in my opinion, he was the best wrestler ever, and probably the best ever go be. because he had a beautiful personality. He was a beautiful person, and he was very strong. He was a very good wrestler, and people loved him.
And another question: if you could change anything in wrestling, it doesn't matter when you were big in your heyday or present day. If you could change one thing in wrestling, what would it be?
Well, I would go to wrestling to the old school. To the old school where you have good guys, you have bad guys.
There's no real heels and baby faces anymore. They changed from a week to week, and you just don't know whether you're supposed to boo them, cheer for them. They do need to go back 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, wrestling didn't change all by itself, every day, everything changed. People change, just like every day, every year, new car come out.
Yeah.
So everything is changed going with the time, With time, we have a different time, and we have different people, different wrestling, But so far, everything's doing good.
And my final question, do you have a favourite road story that you'd like to share with everybody?
Oh, my God, yeah. I have so many, I don't know, but
well,
I don't know to tell them on the radio.
Hey, this is Hardcore Wrestling Radio. You can tell us whatever you want.
No, I better keep it. Keep it for myself. I have more laugh that way.
Okay.
I have a long time ago. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to kick things over now to Lance. Lance, over to you.
Mr. Volkoff, it's an honor to meet you. Now, you were born in Croatia and defected or immigrated to North America. What are the main differences between the two?
Well, that time Croatia was under Yugoslavia, okay, and Yugoslavia was never meant to stay together because it was made like that. It was forcing people with lies and everything else to become together. But when you have something like that, it just cannot stay together. Finally today, Croatia is an independent country, and I guess it's much better.
Now, when you came over to North America, it was in Canada, and you were trained. Well, one of the people who helped train you was Stu Hart. What was it like training in the dungeon?
Yeah, Stu Hart was a very good wrestler. He was a Canadian amateur champion. And then he became even professional wrestler, and then he became a promoter, and then become trainer. He was training guys. So when I met Stu Hart, I couldn't speak a good English, and we have lots of training, but almost training like fighting in his basement. And I learned it quick. Just next year, I was back. That was in I was there in 1968, and then in 1969, I was already back in New York, working in the top arena in the world at that time for wrestling. That was the Madison Square Garden, and I can thank Stu Hart for all his help. And he had a big family. I met all his boys and girls. He had 12 kids. Bret Hart, Owen Hart. They was all nice people, and it was a very good experience.
And my final question, when you were in the AWA, you worked with Bobby Heenan, the Brain. What was your experience like with that?
Bobby Heenan was a very quick thinker, and very fast to answer the questions, and I can tell you a little story about him.
Oh, please, by all means.
He was my manager. We was wrestling in Chicago, as one guy for the audience. He didn't like a referee decision. He took a gun and tried to shoot the referee. He missed the referee. I think he hit the lady. Yeah, he hit the lady in the arm. And Bobby Heenan hid behind me. He said the guy was a lousy shot.
Oh, that sounds
that's funny now, but not then.
I can imagine. Wow. Well, I'm going to pass things over to the lovely Ms. Jack Shit. Ms. Shit?
Well, first of all, I want to say that it is a pleasure to be speaking with you. And I am more of a recent wrestling fan, so I haven't been involved in wrestling as much as these guys, except for the last year. I've been watching, And what do you think of the ravishing Russian Lana? Is my first question.
Well, she's a very nice lady. I talk to her, speak to her in Russian. I like her. She's very nice, very smart, very intelligent, and she's doing good job with the Rusev. In Russian language, Rusev mean Russian, and she's doing a good job. And he's a good athlete. He's very strong and good wrestler, and I think he can do very good.
Yeah, no, it just sometimes she comes off in the ring as being a little bit cold, I think, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, but you have to be different. That's the whole idea. You cannot copy somebody else. You have to be yourself. You have to have your own personality, and she have she is right there. She has her own personality, and I think she's doing very good.
Oh, good.
And I did a little with them. I sing the Russian national anthem, and then I did a little video for the YouTube. If you put Rusev and then space and Volkoff, you will see it. It was very good.
I am definitely going to check that out as soon as I am through asking you questions. Also, it's been brought to my attention because I'm not a longtime wrestling fan, but that you have been a heel and a face throughout your career. And which did you prefer?
Well, when I come from here, they told me they needed a Russian heel, and I told them I cannot do that because I escaped from there. See, my mother was Russian, my father was Croatian, my grandmother was Italian, and I speak all three languages. And they told me to be bad Russian. I didn't like it. But then Freddie Bledsoe said, Nikolai, that's natural. You speak the language. You from there. It's very easy, very easy to do that. So I said, okay. And he talked me into it, and I become Russian, and I start singing the Russian national anthem. Then I hate to. When I was a young kid, we used to force in school to learn it, and I hate it, but it was okay. I guess I started singing it, and it was unbelievable. Reaction from the people and fans, it was unbelievable. And it's funny to say how much they hate at that time. Today, when I go to the show, they ask me, say, please, can you sing Russian national anthem? They all stand up and salute. It's a different,
Things change throughout history, and there was a time where Americans were taught that Russia was a bad country
with the Cold War and everything else. Yeah,
exactly.
And then at the time when I come here, then Ira Sheik was my partner, and you have that Iranian hostages, and Sheik escaped from there because he escaped from there because he didn't like over there, so he played the part too. But we did a good job. It was a good combination, and plus the manager Freddie Bledsoe had lots of experience, and I think we was one of the hottest team at that time.
Were the fans at that time pretty level-headed, or were you ever afraid that they might really rise up and?
Well, I was too young to be afraid, or you can phrase it. I was too stupid to be afraid.
You were young and immortal.
Yeah, so sometimes people would go crazy. Yes, yeah.
Now, what age did you realize that you wanted to be a wrestler?
Well, it comes since I was a little kid. My grandfather was a world champion, and he was killed by first communist. So actually never met him, but we have his picture back home, and we could not talk about him because of the communist system. But then when communism has gone down, and then I said, but now I have no more reason to pretend to be about them. They are finished. Thank God it's finished. Now I can be what I want to be, and then become a good guy.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. And
my pleasure.
I'll turn it back over.
Thank you, Ms. Shit. And last, we have the Wrestler Gamer. Double B, over to you.
Oh, first off, Mr. Volkoff, it is indeed a true honor and a pleasure to speak to someone of your stature in the wrestling industry, a true WWE Hall of Famer. I gotta say, it is just, first off, a real treat to even to have a chance to sit and talk with you and ask you these questions. I do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do that. Now, you did mention your tag team. You were also in another tag team with Boris Zukov, and forgive me if I mispronounce the name of it. I think it was called the Bolsheviks.
Bolsheviks, yeah.
Is there any type of meaning to that name, or was it just a name that was labeled to you?
Bolshevik means majority.
Okay.
In Russian, yeah. That was the legend saw here a revolution. The Bolsheviks, majority people was, want to take the Tsar down, and they call them Bolshevik.
Now, how would you compare Mr. Boris Zukov to when you would work with the Iron Sheik in a tag team?
Well, Iron Sheik is mostly like it was from older school. He was a Olympic champion wrestling from Iran. Iran in wrestling is number one sport, and he was very, very good. And we have a really good time, and if he was on the right time, or right place. Like I said, we have a Cold War with the United States with Russia. Then you have Iranian hostages. Then you put two guys together, like me and Iron Sheik. It was so natural. It was so simple. It was so easy. And we just walk into the ring. We have more heat than other people have wrestling. Just walk into the ring. If they want to come in the ring, we start singing Russian national anthem, and that was it. That was unbelievable. It was so easy, and it was.
Now that moment when you turned against your partner, I believe is really infamous in a lot of wrestling fans' minds. If I can learn to talk properly myself, and and you started singing the American national anthem.
National anthem, yes.
Yes. Whose call was that at the time?
Well, it was my call because I didn't want to follow the Russian gimmick because the colony was finished. It was destroyed, and it was good time because even when you are bad and people hate you, they still devote you because people like good things in their life. They want you to become good. They want you to, And I just did the right time, right place, and everything was good.
Now, looking back at March 31st, 1985, when Vince McMahon first unveiled the WrestleMania product to the wrestling fans at that time, did you have any idea that we'd be looking 30 years later into the WrestleMania concept that Vince McMahon dreamed up, and it would still be not, I would think, the biggest stage in the wrestling industry today? Did you ever think that when he first unveiled that concept to everyone back in 1985 that it would become as big as it is today?
Yeah. Well, if you're talking about WrestleMania is one of the biggest events in the world that ever happened in any sport, any country, when you have WrestleMania, I was in last time I was in Atlanta. I was there signing autographs, and I met people from Europe, from Italy, from Germany, from Poland, even from Croatia. People come all around the world to see one of the biggest wrestling events in the world because, as you know, wrestling is one of the oldest sports. And it was unbelievable. When you have one of the biggest. Over 100,000 people comes with a show. It's a Superdome. I was there too. It's unbelievable.
Now, we have mentioned that you worked with a lot of managers, in the past. Bobby the Brain Heenan, Classy Freddie Blassie, and then I know at one point they even passed you on to the Reverend Slick. From those three managers, which ones did you actually preferred working with more than the other?
Well, they was all good guys. I love them all. I love Slick. I love. One time was Lou Albano was my manager. And one time was Ernie Zarraza Weasel. And most of the time it was Freddie Blassie.
Well,
that was getting older. He wanted to retire. Then he turned us over to Slick. Slick is a very good talker, a very good person. He's a preacher, but his father was a wrestler, Rupert Jones. So he had a good wrestling ground, and he was a good talker and easygoing guy.
Well, Mr. Volkoff, it was indeed a pleasure getting a chance to talk to you. I kind of heard a few stories about Classic Freddie Blassie, and I've always wanted to know, if his reputation actually preceded him in any sense or any form. But it was still a great honor to have a chance to talk with you, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
Mr. Volkoff, and I just have one other question. And you were already inducted in the Hall of Fame 2005 class, and if you could induct anyone personally into the WWE Hall of Fame, who would it be and why?
Well, I don't know if he is a doctor, no, but I will surely induct Ivan Koloff. He's a good old friend, and I don't think he ever been inducted in the Hall of Fame. He beat, I believe, Bruno Sammartino for the belt, and he was a great wrestler, a great person.
Well, Mr. Volkoff, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and we absolutely love you. We'd love to have you again.
Thank you, and do svidaniya.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nikolai Volkoff, WWE Hall of Famer. And that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Hardcore Wrestling Radio. Make sure you put your comments in the comments section below, and make sure you punch that like button while you're at it. Andy, where can everyone find you at?
Yes, you can find me at www.stokehaunted.com. Not only do I like wrestling, I like looking for ghosts as well.
We have the incomparable Lance Moss, and you can find him over at youtube.com/Lance Moss TV. Lance, what do you got going on?
Album reviews, NASCAR discussion videos, redneck gourmet cooking videos, musical equipment reviews, and some rants. If you hadn't subscribed, why hadn't you?
That's right, folks. Get on over and subscribe. And, of course, I would love to thank the lovely Ms. Jack Ship for coming on the show. I'm a little tongue-tied tonight. And then, of course, last and certainly not the least, he is the Wrestle Gamer from WGS-TV, Billy Boudreaux. Billy, thanks for coming on. What do you got going on now?
I'm hiding in a hole in the ground from Andy.
You sure nobody's giving...
Yeah, they got some sick freaks out there, present company included, that want to see me squirm in terror of Five Nights at Freddy's, but the only way they can see that is by going to youtube.com/WrestleGamer. The only way you can see wrestling and video games on the same channel.
And just make sure that nobody's also giving any hassles over the Brock Lesnar videos. Hint, hint. So.
I hate you, Lance.
So for everyone here, this is your hardcore host, Rick Head, saying we'll see you when we see you.
This week's edition of Hardcore Wrestling Radio is brought to you by the brand new product, Fuck It All.
Thank you for listening to this edition of Hardcore Wrestling Radio. Be sure to check us out over at facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. And also be sure to follow us over at dailymotion.com/HWR show. And now, check us out at our new location, soundcloud.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. Until the next time, this is your hardcore host, Rick Head, saying we'll see you when we see you.